Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is episode 2 of Headlocks and Handoffs. I am one of your co-hosts, and I know I beat you to it, but Sir Reddy, you must be used to it.
Wow.
You've been getting your butt kicked all the time, and it's still happening. How you like that?
You had that plan, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of did.
Oh, you.
I was getting ready.
I'm just gonna end the episode now because now I feel embarrassed.
Oh man, but you have like the host control, so you could just stop recording and then.
I could do that. That's true.
That's
You're right.
not cool.
Anyway, correct. So,
Correct.
welcome.
I did beat you all the time. Oh no, that was
yes. There was one time, but we will never discuss that.
correct.
Correct.
Proceed now.
Welcome to episode 2. I know we said we were going to take a break. It seemed to have been a 24-hour break in between episodes, but we needed to,
Hydrate, regroup,
take
stretch
in
out,
the
some
first
sleep.
episode of wrestling, and then just reflect on it a little bit, and then proceed to the running part of our podcast.
Correct.
So,
So we would like the second half of the podcast name.
Exactly. So we're on to the handoff part. We did the headlock, and I think we did the headlock pretty well.
We did.
We got a couple of subscribers today, right? About 4 subscribers. So we're
Don't-
right on
don't
our
do
way
this.
to what?
To fame. I know. You only talk about your subscribers when you have a large amount. Not like, hey, we have 10. Look, we have 2. No. That's not how this works. So, thanks. We have 4 subscribers as of now.
Yep, and we're looking to get at least 5 by tomorrow morning.
This isn't going to be up by tomorrow morning, but that's okay.
Oh man, we're gonna get canceled anyway. What does it matter?
Yeah, the budget's
That's
going
all
out
right.
the window.
Oh yeah, of course. But for this particular part, we're talking about our other passion, which is running. Something that we have both been doing pretty much since we were teenagers, possibly prior to that as well. But something that has impacted our lives greatly, and still does to this day. So we introduced ourselves in the last episode. I guess we would call this episode 1A or 1B, I mean.
Could be 1B. I just call it 2.
I guess episode 2. Would you call it episode 2? So we're
yeah.
past the pilot episode.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So many great hits that we needed to finish up with the running portion of it, correct?
Yeah. The premiere video already came out. Now
That's
if you
true.
have like the second premiere, it's no. Second episode. Let's do it.
Right. And I mean, if those of you who missed out, and we had a big VIP premiere.
Yeah.
Big VIP premiere. So VIP that I didn't even realize that it was VIP. That we, on this show as hosts, weren't even part of it. That's how VIP it was.
Yeah, I didn't get the invite. It went to my other email for the show. That's why. I was checking my personal email. I'm like, it's not here. It's not here. Oh man.
It was like, oh man, I guess I missed my own party. Oh well.
Yeah, it's because they don't send it to the AOL accounts.
What's AOL?
Yeah,
use
you've got mail. It didn't go off though. It never said it.
So with this portion of our podcast, we are here to discuss kind of our introduction as to why we're doing it and the impact it had on us. But as we go on to future episodes, that we will discuss different portions, including coaching, other different types of experiences, professional running in general, what's going on in running in the pandemic today, how professional runners are dealing with it, how we're dealing with it. So there's a lot of stuff we can also touch on here. But I figured tonight would be a nice, easy transition into kind of just the simple things as to why we got started with it, what got it, like why we continue to do it later on, and and the benefits from it. So I mean, at least in my life, running has made such a big impact on me that it's literally laid the path for me to do what I'm doing now, which is teaching and coaching, obviously, because I get to coach something I love to do, and not a lot of people get to do that. You also get to do that. We both have been coaching for. I'm looking at my 15th year going into right now. I mean,
think
I think you might have one more year on me.
I'm like 15, I think.
Are you 15 also?
Yeah. I
So,
don't think I have as many seasons as you because I started winter and then spring,
right,
but I think you have, yeah, we're basically around the same.
right,
I
right.
took the year off on my we'll get to it, but my Oregon little travel,
We know, we know, we
Just want
know.
to
Yeah,
name
I
drop
think, yeah, yeah, no big deal or anything. We'll obviously get to that part. But
that.
anyway, so we've both been, well, I guess we're both in our 15th year of coaching. And, we look back at that type of stuff, and we were the young guys at that time. We were the guys, the up and comers, you know, and we are now, I guess you would call the middle card guys.
Hmm.
Maybe
Um,
wrestling reference right there.
maybe we're like the legends that they call in when business is low, and like, oh yeah, bring back the old guys that were really good, but no one really knows of them anymore.
Yeah, right. There, I don't know
That
where they
might be
are.
us.
So we'll bring in these guys. These guys
Yeah.
kind of know what's going on, right? But
Yeah, maybe.
so, I mean, you've coached Valley Stream South briefly, right? If you want to go into that, where you
Yeah,
started and where
sure.
you are now.
I went to Valley Stream South as an athlete, as a student. Ran there a couple of years. I really started as a freshman for spring track. Had some really good success there. Then as a sophomore, did cross country and spring, and then as a junior, I was doing all 3 seasons. So I did it for junior, senior year. After college, I actually went back to Valley Stream to work. So I was teacher assistant there, and then coach, and I was there for 2 years. And I was a boys coach there for the winter and the spring season. Took a year off, went to another school, and I've been there now since 2008. So I have, like I said, 12, 13 years there now. Yeah,
It's a
13
long
years
time.
been there. Yeah, it has been.
It's a long
And
time.
it's kind of cool just seeing like the different turnovers. So when I was there, the athletes there, I was their fifth coach in 4 years. So as freshmen, they had one coach who was really good. He moved on to become a college coach. The next year, one new coach, that person didn't last. The next year, another coach that didn't last. The next year, they had a coach that I was told was so horrible. The coach got fired in, I think, mid-April. So then someone else took over. And then I was there starting that September, that late August for a
Right.
preseason. And I just remember hearing all the stories like, oh, no one knew really kind of who I was, if I would stay around there. Obviously, in the running community, you kind of all know each other, but where we're coaching, it's a little bit of a different situation. So they were, after pretty much the first few months, they were happy that I kind of knew what I was doing. I wasn't like all those other coaches. I'm very reasonable. I'm passionate about, which we both are. And they were kind of like, okay, he seems like he's going to be here for a while because of all those things. You put in the hard work, sometimes just as much, if not more, than the actual kids.
Right.
So,
And it's now that you said that, it's very, not that it's rare, but to have somebody who just coming out of college, who experienced a college career, a high school career, and you have that fiery passion that you want to be able to pass that along to kids that you were in that situation with when you were an athlete, that you want to be able to show them what you've learned and just how much more it is than just come showing up to practice and competing and stuff like that, which is, I think it was a pretty cool thing, rather than just pulling somebody in that doesn't really know anything and just kind of like, all right, here you go. This is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. And,
mhm.
and I could share that, I shared that experience with you to a certain extent, obviously. So I went to Mepham High School. I ran 4 years at Mepham High School. I ran a little bit in college, got hurt, but that kind of, you know, that was something that I had to deal with then. So I didn't really get that whole college experience with that, unfortunately. Um, but when I got into grad school, I was able to get a position to coach like you did. So I was able to coach back at my alma mater and coach at Mepham High School to start. And then I actually did one volunteer season just because I didn't care if I got paid or not. I just wanted to do it because I loved it and I loved the sport itself. So I was just wanted to be able to pass that information along to some of the younger athletes. And then eventually becoming a coach there for the girls team there for 9 years. And then went along now. I'm at my current school now for 6 years, starting my sixth year now. So it's been a long road. So we've both been at a couple of schools now. We've been able to experience two different types of programs. Um, Both of us have seen success in many ways, whether it's a team titles or individual athlete titles or individual accomplishments from our athletes. You know,
It's funny as you're talking about that with the team titles and accomplishments. There were a couple of years where we each had an athlete as one of the top people in the race, and we would almost like take side bets. Like, hey, I bet my kid's gonna beat yours. Like, yeah, yeah, I bet we're gonna lap you in this race. It's like I bet my relay team is better than yours. Thus, handoff. And it'd be like, all right, hot dogs to the winners. Let's do it. Okay.
so many of those. But you're right.
Yes.
But we,
Everybody
I
made it
think,
fun.
right, and I think we were very fortunate enough to have good kids that we coached, and fortunate enough that we were able to um, kind of help them along the way a little bit, and kind of help them just kind of realize like what we got out of it, that they should be able to kind of recognize the same thing like we did. Obviously, you had way more success than I have, but not saying that in a way like I wasn't any good at what I did when I was an athlete. It's just that we both had different experience, but we all, no matter, but that just shows no matter how much success someone has or someone maybe not has as much, and still come together later on in life and still be able to, I guess we compete against each other
Hmm.
and able to just share that experience with other people, that it doesn't really matter. In my eye, it doesn't matter. You could be the best. You could have been the best athlete in the world. You could have been the worst athlete in the world. It's just a matter of believing on what you think works and what you believe will make the successful athlete as a whole, um, through the eyes of some people that have experienced different things. You know, I would call you an elite, definitely an elite athlete, an elite runner, elite coach. I would probably call myself a very, maybe slightly above average runner. Uh, and that's giving myself a little bit more credit than I probably deserve. But you learn different things from different ways you've experienced things. And, you've definitely learned different things in a higher elite aspect than I ever have. And the way you are and the way you coach and the way I coach is still, I think, at least to me, very similar, because you and I will talk about how we coach. We talk about different workouts that we do, and we always kind of pick each other's brains about it, you know. But that's what's so cool about this, because it doesn't matter. Like, we're both passionate about what we do and we love what we do, and it's not even a job. It's really just like,
It's
not even,
fun.
I wouldn't even call it a hobby. Yeah, it's a fun hobby, and we literally enjoy doing it every single day. And thank God we're able to do it now again.
Yes. And it's funny with that. I was just thinking as you were talking about like trading workouts and all that. I feel, at least for our level, and we've competed teams against teams, so it's not like now we don't see each other for competition, but there's not really like that ego involved. Because like I've said to my own athletes, like, yeah, I'll tell you the workouts we just did today. I'll tell this coach that, because it's going to work different on each kid. If the kids don't believe what they're doing is the best thing possible, it won't matter. If I say, hey, I just did this with my top kids, they're state champs. Hey, you do it with yours, and they're like, coach, this is the worst idea ever. It's not going to work for them. I
Right.
always felt like it wasn't so much the workout, but what they do with it, and if they actually think, hey, this will work for us. This is good. And with that too, like, we can share a lot of those workouts, because it's different depending on each athlete, each program. I remember you would do the 20 quarter workouts with your kids. I knew I had a much smaller team. We weren't as strong. If we did that, it wouldn't go well. And it's just like you have to know. And they would always ask, "Hey, we hear they're doing that. Okay, it's a different program, it's a different team. We're not going to do it now because we have a big race 2 days away. Let's not try it all of a sudden."
It's
And
all going
it's
to be different. You nailed it
Mhm.
right there. Like, I've talked to I've had older athletes come back to me and say, well, why is that school doing that? Why aren't we doing that? Well, this is why we're not doing that. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Oh, okay, I get it. But even
Mhm.
before you said that word, ego, like, I feel like that's just that's a big part of what's going on sometimes, is like, it's the big ego thing. So it's like, you and I at least like you said, we share everything together. We kind of work off each other because we want our programs to be successful. We want to be able to kind of help each other, but help our athletes, because that's just the way we are. It's not like, well, I'm not telling you what you need to do. I'm not telling you what I'm doing because I want to beat you, but I want to be able to help you, and then I want you to be able to help me, and we just kind of mesh that way. And when we do compete against each other, I mean, crazy enough that we both, as many times as both of us have changed schools to coach a different school, we still end up back in the same place again.
Correct.
And it's always fun because it's always great competition, and we don't let egos get in the way of that because we have fun with it. Because obviously everyone wants to win, but is it the end of the world if we don't?
No.
Probably not. It's not going to really affect much in my life if I don't win, or if you don't win, or if we do win, great. If we don't, like, it doesn't make it, as long as the athletes are getting something out of it.
Yes. And as you're saying about like winning being the end all be all, I've said this before and it's crazy, but I've always learned more when I lost a race than when I won a race. Because when you lose it, okay, if you win it, hey, everything you did you thought was perfect. But then if you lose a race, it's like, oh wow, I went out way too fast, or my middle laps were absolutely horrible. I fell asleep on that, or hey, this guy just outkicked me. Okay. But last week I ran so much slower and I won. Yeah, it's because there was no competition there. You didn't have to really do anything to win. You just had to finish the race and be on the track. Now it's like, oh, this guy's really good. I actually have to race that middle lap. I have to do this part. I have to do that part. Hey, I actually need to stretch out before a race because I was super tight.
Right.
So it's like
all the little things. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's all the little things. And it's funny you say it, like, it's so the first time, and this is obviously to the viewers and not you because you've heard this before, but obviously the first time, you'll definitely know. You'll definitely remember. I remember. You'll definitely.
I can probably finish the story for you.
But again, the last episode you said that you didn't really remember me, so that's fine. I mean, you being here, me being here, or actually more down here, then I understand that. That's fine. But the first time I ever raced you was our junior year, was at Nassau Coaches Invitational, Massapequa High School, spring 2000. And I was supposed to run the mile that day. And then my coach said, hey, you want to run the 2 mile? And I, of course, go, sure, coach, I'll do whatever you ask me to do.
Wait, say that part again. I'm sorry. I feel like that doesn't really get said too much anymore. Can you just repeat that?
You're right. Whatever my coach said to do, I did without any question. Even if I didn't want to run the race, I did it anyway, and I did it to the best of my ability. But you're right. Not a lot of people will say that nowadays. So coach, who's in the race? I don't know. We'll find out when we get to the line. All right.
But so on a quick side note, that is true. Because you really never knew who was going to run.
No,
whatever.
I have no idea.
Yeah, there's certain teams that an invite, but you only know that when you show up and there's like, oh, Valley Stream South just walked by. Okay, yes, they're here. That was it.
But then you don't know if they're even racing certain races, so who even knows? You never know. That's what's so cool about this, because you really can't prepare for anything particularly. You just it's just all a mind game. It's all just guessing. It's really just kind of that's what makes it fun too, especially on the coaching aspect. It's just when we do it on the athlete part, we only see like, all right, I need you to do this. All right. And now we're the ones on this side going, we need you to do that because, and then obviously, but that's the way it is. So spring 2000.
Going to the 2 mile. Who's in the race?
2 mile. I'm moseying in there. I'm all warmed up. I'm all confident. I'm like, never ran the 2 mile before in the 3 years I was already on the team. So I'm like, all right, this can't be so bad. It's only 1 more mile than I usually run, and it's 1 more mile less than I usually run in a cross country race. How bad can that be?
Yeah.
So I mosey on. I'm looking on the line. I'm like, all right, I kind of know you. I'm like, all right, not so bad. And who comes into lane 1 right next to me is Mr. Chris Mammone from Valley Stream South, who at that time was pretty much unbeatable. And I look at you and I go, it's going to be a long race. And I remember you had your shaved head. You
Yep.
had like a little bit of a beard. And I'm like, who is this man?
If it
This
was
is
a
not a high
junior,
schooler.
yeah. If it was our junior year though, I didn't do the facial hair yet.
You didn't have. I thought you had the beard.
That was as a senior.
Was that? Oh, sorry, my mistake.
It's alright. No, it's alright.
So you probably
I'll
had.
explain that
So you
part.
probably had what you had now, but maybe a little longer. Maybe just like
Yeah.
a tad. You're
Listen,
probably like, hey, I'm a high school kid, but I look like I'm 30.
yeah, I look older then than I do now. That's all.
That's all right. Oh, okay. Who's this guy? I'm just. It doesn't matter who this guy is. Just doesn't care. So I remember you getting on the line. I'm like, well, that's the end of this race. Not that I was going to win it at all, but I know how this is going to work. I remember, and because to this day, that was still my fastest 2 mile I ever ran. Was the first 2 mile I ever ran, and I remember watching you finish the race about 250 meters away from me, jogging in a race. I think you probably ran maybe like 10 minutes that day.
I probably did.
Probably just like an easy win. There was no one even in the race with you. And I'm like chugging along. I'm like, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I'm coming through and I'm like 40 seconds behind you. I'm like, how does he do this? I'm like, I hope I never see this guy again. And here we are.
You see me all the time.
Now I see you all the time.
Yeah.
And now I am doing the show with you.
Yes. I'm thinking as a junior, I went like mid 9:30s that year for my best. So if it was national coaches and if it was like no one else really in the race, it probably was 10 minutes or maybe like just under 10. You know?
Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah,
Okay,
that sounds like
sounds
a walk in the park for you, actually.
Yeah, just a nice little 10-minute jog, you know.
Can you do that now, though?
Yeah, I could still jog for 10 minutes. So the
You're right. I could do the same thing. You're right.
yeah, it would probably come out to like 0.6 of a mile, maybe. You know, I'll finish 2 laps at that time.
We had our heydays. Well, you had your heyday. I had my sort of day.
You lived it with me.
Listen,
yeah, we're gonna get
I lived it way back in the other side of the track, though.
No, we're gonna get our Providence story in here. Not tonight, but our Providence.
We'll get that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the big question that I want at least to focus in on tonight about running before
you answer that.
Yes.
Because you brought up the mustache or the beard. I kind of want to touch upon that because you got me excited.
All right. Go. You do your thing.
As a senior during the winter track season, I grew out my whole beard. And now it's kind of funny because I shaved the mustache, but I had everything else over here. I didn't shave from the start of winter tracks, let's say December 1st until the state meet mid-March. So December, January, February, about 3.5 months, not shaving at all. It was so bushy and like out to here. I was putting pens in there, shaking my head, and it wouldn't move. Like it just got stuck in there.
Do you know how intimidating you were back then? Do you realize how intimidating you were?
But that was part of it. It was because it was basically the shaved head, super short, and a beard. And like you said, it was like, who is this grown man? What is he doing in here?
I don't think you mentioned the fast part too. Did you mention that?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay.
Was I fast?
Sometimes we forget about that type of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole thinking behind it was I would always shave the night before a race. So like less wind resistance, which I don't really even think matters. But that was the idea. No facial hair, I'll be good to go. So how about this? What if I just get all this facial hair over a few months, shave it the night before a big race, I'll actually see a difference. That was my whole plan. Because, okay, if you do it every time, it's not so much. Like, okay, if you carve up a neat pasta the night before a race, you might not notice a big difference. But if you have the pasta for that one big race, you might get a little extra excited and just feel much better, ready to go, all carved up.
I think it's all a placebo effect, really, at this point.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. It is.
I don't know if you remember my pasta ordeal back at a race that we ran together once a couple of years ago. It was the Alfredo sauce.
I kind of know this, but
did not have a great race the next day.
Was this in another state?
It was
on a national championship. Oh, so wait, we've done a few national championships.
No, not that national championship. It was in a different state. Not that I was in multiple national championships. Let's be real here.
You were. We had what? Kentucky,
right?
Spokane.
I wasn't there. Thank you for thinking of me, though. No, I wasn't there.
I was
I
thinking, oh
ran
yeah.
I ran one
Oh,
national race. I won one. I ran one. I didn't win it. I ran one. I
but we
won it. Well, let's say this. I won it from the
if you
back end of
reverse,
it.
yes.
Yes. If the race was reversed, I would have won that race by a lot.
Yes. So we have competed in the same national championship. We've traveled to another national championship that I've raced at, and then we've both traveled to a national championship just to watch. So
Uh, that's our.
yeah.
That's we'll have a whole episode on national talk.
That sounds good.
Maybe we'll be talking on a national stage by then.
Oh,
I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see how popular we get.
Maybe we could celebrate it when our subscribers are in the double digits.
Oh, I cannot wait. Cannot wait. All
Uh,
that money.
yes.
I can get a microphone so I don't sound so muzzled. I get all these lights. Oh my God. It'll be just crazy. Get real headphones.
Yes.
Right. So the main part of tonight was the subject of your absolute best memory of high school racing and your worst memory of high school racing. And I know there's probably a lot of good ones for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's not a lot of bad ones for you because you are Chris Mammone and you do have a life-size poster in your high school of yourself, pretty much saying this guy was the greatest athlete that Valley Stream South's ever seen. And I think I have maybe like a medal in a box somewhere that shows that I've
that you were there
a few times in an above average way. So, but there are some good and bad stuff. But I'll let do you know any off your head? Because I know mine. Because I always tell it to any kids that I coach because it's a good way to learn different things that you shouldn't be doing, and then things that if you follow the right thing and you follow what your coach tells you, it'll work out.
So how about this? We'll go story for story. As you said, I think I know my best race or best memory.
Okay.
So you give me one of yours, either best or worst.
So
I'll say my best. You say.
Or we could do it this way: best for cross country, best winter track moment, best spring track moment.
You're getting fancy on me.
I'm getting a little fancy because we do coach 3 seasons. We've also ran
All
3
right.
seasons. So, I mean, I figured that would only make sense. So we can start with cross country because.
Let's do it. Cross country.
So my best cross country memory, I actually have 2. And I'm trying to think which one. One's more personal to me, and then one was just really good overall for the team purposes. So I'll make it very brief though, since I have the 2 and I really can't choose from both of them. The team-wise stuff, I think I raced. It was our last league meet, and it was Kennedy, Calhoun, Mepham, Garden City. And at that time, I think I just barely broke 18 for the first time, which I'm sure some people who are watching this were like, what does that mean? So for 5K, 18 minutes is kind of like, all right, not too bad. So I remember racing that race. I remember racing a lot of big guns in that race and a couple people that I had no business being in the race with, and I ended up winning. I ended not winning the race, but I ended up 4th in the race and beating 3 guys that I had no business beating. I just happened to have a really good day and in my eye, those are the 3 guys I really wanted to beat and who my coach told me I had to beat for us to even have a difference there. So I ran like a 25-second PR that day. I ran like just under 17:40 that day. I had like one of the best races I ever ran. And I beat all those guys within the last 1,000 meters of the race. Again, me being not as good as everybody, but I worked hard than most people did. That day just so happened, all the stars aligned, all the planets aligned that day, and I was able to just have the race of my life. And that till this day was probably the fastest race I still ran, a 5K cross country race.
I love how you said that though, like how all the stars align, because sometimes like that's really all it is. You know, like you're plugging with the training, you're doing everything that's right, things aren't working out yet, and then all of a sudden the stars align, everything is there, and it's like, oh my God, I just knocked off 25 seconds.
Yep.
Wow, okay, that's
It just
crazy.
happened that day. So the other one was, like I said, more personable, more to how it's more personable to me was I think it was our senior year cross country conference championships. I just watched you win your conference pretty easily. And then I kind of, and that's what's cool because I don't think I ever told you this is that like watching you race in cross country because you were so dominant the way you ran, like really inspired a lot of the guys that were really not the top guys to really try and push the envelope a little bit. So we were on our way to that meet, and I got a phone call from my mother saying that my dad was in the hospital and that he had a heart attack. So I had a choice to make. My coach told me I can race the race or I can sit out, and it was up to me. But he told me that it would be your dad would want you to do what you would want. So I said I would want to race that race. I said I need to race this. This is what I need to do right now because this is my life, and nothing else I can do can change that right now. So I ran that race, and I ended up 10th in the conference. And again, not I had no business being in the top 10 in our conference, but I ran that race feeling the way I felt. And I still have that all conference award that I hold to this day because that's how much it means to me. So that was probably that definitely I think that would actually go above what the other story was, but they're two different things, but I kind of go hand in hand with each other. And yeah, so that would probably be one of my most memorable races. Maybe not my best race, but one of my most memorable races as in a positive light from a negative standpoint, I guess, like if you'd say it that way.
Okay. It's a little like a pop a positive twist there, I like that. That's good.
Right, you take a negative, turn it into a positive. Yep.
Yeah, of course. Common sense, really.
Oh.
So, for me, for cross country, my best memory, I really want to say it was like almost my whole senior year, and a big part of that, which probably no one ever. Sorry, I don't know if you hear my dog is going crazy back here now. Probably sees a squirrel outside or something. But anyhow, so my best memory was senior year cross country, and what I was going to say is that most people probably don't talk about it, but it was the training leading up into it. Over the summer, it was like a known thing. Tuesday's best page. Wednesday, I did something with my team. Thursday, sunken medal. And I was there every single week, Tuesday, every single week, Thursday, running with older guys that were in good shape. And for us being in high school, it was someone to run with, someone to go after. And I was running those runs very hard, but still controlled, not like over racing or doing like that. And I just felt so confident starting the season. My coach started putting me on double runs, so I would do 4 miles every morning during the week, and then whatever practice was, 8 miles, the workout, whatever it was. So it was basically adding extra mileage to get faster, to get stronger. And I just always remember going to every single race feeling so completely confident. Where like I would go to races and really like almost look at the start line and being like, none of you deserve to even beat me. Like you aren't up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You aren't doing this. You aren't doing that. You don't deserve to. Like for that fact alone, I'm going to run so fast and beat everyone here. I'm going to run so fast every single time out. And the first race that year was the Jim Smith meet.
Yes.
Okay, so Jim Smith was really cool because they did a grade race. So it was the senior race, the junior race, and so on and so on. And I beat the reigning county champ for like overall and then the class champ. And I broke 17 minutes at Sunken Meadow, which I've never done before, but put on like a pretty big lead on both of them. And I just remember thinking it was like, oh my God, like Mammone is here. Like Mammone's for real now. He was good last year, but like wow, he just kind of like opened up even more. Like you went from good to, oh my God, over the season kind of. Because for me, my junior overall was was good, but it wasn't what I was really expecting. So
Right.
just from training so much over the summer, and just like really that whole first month, we were going to Sunken Meadow probably every weekend. I think I won all the races there like that month of September, but just getting pretty much faster and faster each time out. And it was just like, wow, like I just felt so confident, and I loved racing at Sunken Meadow. So for if you're
Not a lot of
from
people
that,
can say that.
oh, I know I preferred Sunken Meadow over Bethpage because I knew Sunken Meadow, I knew the course better than Bethpage.
Well, it also
But
just it's just a tougher course, but it made you tougher. Like
that
you
was it.
that good memory you just spoke about, like that's just like you don't see that anywhere, and not anymore. And I remember being at those Bethpage workouts and Sunken Meadow workouts, and just wanting to be better. Because if you wanted to get better, you did the work,
Hmm.
and if you didn't do it, then what's the point? You know, coming in
Exactly.
with that much confidence in the season, yeah, no one's going to beat you, especially with the amount of work you put in. You know,
Well,
it's something that it's something that you need to teach more of, because not a lot of people can do that now, or they don't, or they choose not to do it. The easy way out not to.
I agree. It,
But
it's
that's
unfortunate.
awesome.
Yeah, but and it's true. It was really just all the training got me so much more confident, and just knowing like, oh, today's gonna be a good day. Like I loved racing, where it's just like it was really a test against myself. Like let's see how hard I could push myself.
Right.
How hard can I sprint up cardiac hill? Okay, you get to the top, race is done. We're going downhill. We're flying home to the finish now. So just like I said, super super cool. The whole summer, that first month training, and obviously getting into like the bigger races then too.
That's it. Like that's the excitement. Like why wouldn't anyone want to just put in the work and just be excited when you come up in September? You're like, let's go. Like I'm ready. Like I am so ready to do this right now. I can like no one can beat me. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. I love that feeling. That was always a great feeling. I can't see coming into a season and be like, well, I haven't really done anything, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens from here. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? That's not what you should be doing. But that's definitely a pretty cool memory of just training itself, like because that's what it is. That's the meat and
Yeah.
potatoes of everything. You know, that
E-
sets everything up for success later on.
mhm. Maybe like 5, 6 years ago, my kids would ask, like, "Hey, coach, do you enjoy training?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm complete like right now, no, because I don't enjoy. Okay, I enjoy being at practice, but I don't enjoy after being outside for 2.5, 3 hours, being cold, then having to go home to run for 90 minutes, or then having to go home run an hour and a half fartlek, or repeat thousands on the track. No, that part it gets you. But I've always said like if I want those results, you got to put in the work. Because like what you're saying too, if you're not putting in the work out there, you're not going to get those results. And you're the only person you could blame. It's not your coach, it's not your parents, it's not the officials, it's not the weather. You didn't do the work. You're not getting faster because you're not training, you're not doing it.
How many Mondays did we put in when
Oh,
we
the
were
10-mile Mondays.
10-mile Mondays, and we were doing it at like 8 o'clock at night? We're
Yep.
just like, we have to
Whenever
do
we
it.
could.
We got it. We want to continue getting better. We have to do what we need to do. You know. All right.
I
So
sorry, before we go, I
oh, go
still
ahead.
remember this one 10-mile Monday where you were living in Merrick. We ran to Eisenhower Park. Was it Eisenhower Park that we ran to? It was like a
Uh,
nasty weather out, like
right. Yes.
probably
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I think it
torrential
was Eisenhower.
downpour.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, I kind of took off on the way back, so I'm like, I'm just freezing, and I just want to get back. Like, I'm sorry, like, I gotta go. Sorry, I gotta do this. So
Those are some of the best runs we probably. Well, at
yeah,
least to me, those are probably the best runs I've ever had, because I mean, obviously our skill set's a lot different. So for me to just be able to run with you and just do what I was doing was like such a cool feeling to me, because it's like a fan running with it's like celebrity, and like being like, yeah, this was a lot of fun. Like this is so cool. So it was just like really cool to be able to just train with you, even though what you were doing was probably pretty easy, but I was kind of putting a little bit more effort into it. But I was benefiting a little bit from it, because
mhm,
that's what we needed to do, you know?
definitely. Hmm.
Um, so how
Well,
about you start with your worst memory?
awesome. I'm glad you said that because, as crazy as it sounds, my best memory being the summer of training going into my senior year. My worst memory is actually the county championship race as a senior. So
How, I kind of knew you were going to come up
yeah.
with that.
So I finished second overall, and I was the class county champ. And it was like, oh, congrats, you're the champ. But I was like, no, I was second in the race. Like I didn't win the race, I was second. I'm the class champ in cross country when it was like really awesome. There was one race for all of Nassau County. So if you were good, you were in the race, you got to go against every other good person. And you knew, hey, I'm 15th best in Nassau County. Like that was awesome. Hey, I'm
Yep.
10th, I'm 25th, whatever. Then they'd break it down to different classes and all that. But what got to me the most about that race is because the same way I was very confident, I wasn't cocky, but I was feeling good. And I remember it being quiet during the race because I felt like I was so alone and no one was near me. I was leading the race for, let's say, like the first 2 miles at least. And I remember we got to this one part at Bethpage, and something was just kind of like, hey, just see if there's anyone behind you. And I gave like a little look over my shoulder on a turn. I didn't do like a full look back, but
Right.
as I was going on the turn, it was like a little glance over, and I saw Billy Vasilidis coming up. And I was like, oh man. And it's one of those things where you know you're hurting, and if someone's near you, it's like, this ain't gonna be good.
Uh,
And he eventually caught up to me. We were running like step by step, shoulder to shoulder, going up that little incline before the polo field. When we got on the polo field, he put 10 seconds on me. And it was just like, wow, like he honestly, he just like defeated me so much. Where the polo field is about half a mile. He broke 16 minutes that day, and I was 16:09. And I was just like, wow, like if you would have just pushed a little bit harder, you probably could have stayed with him.
would
But
you have been impressed if I told you exactly what the time you ran? I mean, you obviously said it, but I knew exactly what time you ran, and I knew exactly what time he ran.
hmm
That's how sort of stuff you'll never forget.
yeah, of course.
It's just it's crazy. I can't, listen. You definitely. When I remember being there. Well, obviously I was in the race with you, but you definitely were the favorite to win that race, just because you were just dominating the entire field all year long, and you definitely were the fan favorite for that one.
hmm And
But
for me, I just felt like I was, and it was kind of like this is my race to lose. And listen, Billy, he was defending county champ. He was still running well, but I think I was posting faster times, or actually, he might have posted a faster time at the conference meet because it was him and I want to say Floyd Main.
yeah, they were both neck and neck in that
Yeah,
meet, because I think Bill. Well, obviously Billy won, but he only won by like he just leaned it in at the end
yeah.
there. Like he just beat him out too.
I want to say they probably ran like 16, like 15, 16, 20, something like that. And then let's say on my own, I was like 16:30 or something, maybe faster, who knows? But it was just like, okay, like they're getting faster, but like you said, I still felt like this is still my race to win. This is still my day. And but the same way, it was just like so many people were like, oh, county champ, that's awesome. Like, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was
Right.
to be the first finisher. And it kind of is at that part, it kind of is an ego where it's like, I am the best runner in Nassau County. That's it. Not your class, not your school size. I am the fastest boy in Nassau County. That was the goal. And it's like, oh, didn't work out.
Sometimes it
So,
doesn't. I mean, it's just
yeah.
and but you're right. Like we were saying before, like that was the that was when cross country was cross country.
Yes. I
You
love
were
that so much.
in one race to determine who was the best. You weren't in three separate races. That guy won by a lot. He probably could have beaten that guy. I guess we'll never know. You
Yeah.
know, we'll let everyone into the meet. You know, it's like you earn your way in. You used to have to earn your way in,
Yes.
and that's who determined the best team, the best individuals. And that's what cross country truly is about. You know, and you talked about that. Well, go ahead. You sound
No,
like
I
you
was going
look
to
like
say,
you're about to say something else.
yes. So cross country and wrestling were the only two sports, from what I remembered, that still had a true Nassau County championship. For wrestling, depending on like your school size and all that, you all went to the same qualifier tournament, then made the county championship. Now I think it's split up into like District One or District Two, or like
Right.
State One, State Two. But it used to just be everyone. So you would have Massapequa and Freeport going against Cold Spring Harbor, and it was just like, no, like you're all the same weight class. This is what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're a big school, small school. This is the competition. You want to be best in Nassau County, you go against them. People from Glen Cove. I remember one of my good friends was a lightweight, and he wrestled someone from Glen Cove that was really good. School size didn't matter. Like you're good or you're not. That was it. But so sorry. Go on with that. I know.
No. But even you bring that up before, like that your worst memory is the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but I was the county championship race back then that I raced in, obviously in the same race as you did, was the same thing. It was my worst memory was that same race.
That's
Obviously
great.
for different reasons. It's you get to that point, and by then I remember going online. Then I mean online, you can go and you can, if you can even
Yes.
call it that, you can go and check your rankings.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing my name. I was like, all right, I'm 21st. If overall in the county, like I'm number 21. All I need to do is finish like I've done all season long, and I'll be all county. Because that was my goal, was just to be an all county runner. That's all I wanted. That was my biggest goal. After that is just whatever happens, happens. And that's why I emphasize listening to your coach so much now, because it really does make a difference. Going into that race, I think we were ranked third in our county. It was Syosset, Farmingdale, and us. Farmingdale and us were kind of back and forth a little bit. And obviously Syosset being the big front runner there. And we were all like, well, they're the team to beat, but we need to do what we need to do.
Think they probably won like 4 or 5 years in a row at that time.
I think it was 6 years in a row.
Okay.
I think it was something like, oh no, it wasn't 6 years in a row. Well, it depends, because we were always either in the big county or the middle county. It was always switching up anyway. But
Okay.
yeah, I think you're right. The 5's probably more accurate, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. Whatever there was, they were very dominant. Like no one could beat them. It was crazy. I remember my coach coming up to me and saying, "This is what you need to do. If this is how it's going to work out." And once I got to the line, in my mind, I got cocky because I was racing really well up until that point. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to just try and finish top in under my ranking number and under top 20. And I'm going to try and beat those guys again. And I went in with so much confidence, and I went in very cocky, which was definitely the wrong thing to be. And I ended up running 30 seconds slower. I ended up not 21st place. I ended up 43rd place. I ran one of the worst races I ran because I didn't listen. I ran with some of the big guys. I ran with the chase pack behind you for the mile and a half, because I was like, I can run with these guys. What's stopping me?
We were all together at that first mile. We had one big pack at mile.
And then it separated.
Yeah.
Because I remember everybody separating, and then I was at the end of that pack, and I was like, I could do this. I can run. I'm going to run really fast today. I'm going to be all county. I'm going to run really fast. And then I remember coming up through the woods right before we came out to the street, before we went up the hill, and boom, I'm like, I'm done. I have nothing left. I shot myself in the foot, and all these guys kept passing me. All these guys that I beat all season, including one of my teammates, and all the guys that I knew I had to beat, that I was told that I just needed to stay right with them, and that's all I had to do. And I didn't listen, and I ended up not all county. I ended up not top 20. I barely made top 45, and I finished, and I couldn't even look at myself that day. It was just some of to this day is the day I mostly regret in my running career, because something that I will never forget, and that I hope no one else ever experiences that, because it was such a horrible feeling. I know you were saying that you lost your race, and you wanted to be the overall county champion. And yeah, you're a class county champion, and I know you wanted that win, and you just want something so bad, and if it doesn't work out, it just eats away at you. And I apologized to my coach years later, and I'm like, I should have listened to you. I screwed up. I should have listened, and now I'm paying for it. But at least now I can use that as a teachable moment now for other people.
No, definitely. And that's what a lot of it comes out of. We're like, hey, if looking back now, what would you have changed to make that day better? Okay, just hold back that first mile and a half. race the way you know how, race the way that works for you, and just keep that going. If you're feeling good at 2 miles, then start picking it up. And I think that's why I started seeing my kids a couple of years ago. Because we would see races at Bethpage where kids go flying out and they're like, "Oh my God, they're so fast!" And we go, "Okay, let's watch and see where they finish." And they would finish mid to the back of the pack. And I was like, "Guys, look, it's not where you start the race; it's where you end. You could have a 200-meter lead in the first quarter mile. If you finish dead last, no one cares.
Yeah.
If you finish 200 meters in front of the second place person, now it's like, oh, that guy's fast. Oh, wow. Okay, there's no one even within sight of him. Wow, he's really good.
It's all
That's
patience.
yeah, that's
Right,
what
it's
it is.
patience. Like, and
Hmm.
unfortunately for runners, we're not very patient people.
No.
It really is. It's easy for us to tell them what to do and to just be patient and wait for that
Hmm.
opportunity. But they have to be patient about that. They have to
Hmm.
understand that. And when
It's
you're an
tough.
athlete, you don't understand that like we do because we've lived it. And no matter how many times you explain it, it's never going to have the same effect. But I mean, it has worked in the past. It doesn't work for everybody, but like I said, runners, we're very impatient. We're very stubborn, but that's just the way the sport is. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't. And, we learn from it, the good, the bad. No one's going to have a consistently great day all the time. It never happens. In a perfect
No,
world, it doesn't happen at all.
definitely not.
It's not going to be that way. You have to be able to take, like you said, you take the losses as a teachable moment.
Hmm.
You hope that you can take something from that. All right, what did I do there? Okay, I got to work on that one. Coach, what do I need to? What did I do wrong there? Our good friend Mike Ringhauser always questioned his kids after the race. All right, what'd you do? What did you do wrong? And the kids are able to tell you, that's a great thing. And what he's done at that program to help those kids and for them to be
It's
able
insane.
to recognize what they're doing wrong is spectacular and something that not a lot of us can really do with our programs.
Hmm.
And that's what makes a good coach in that way is that you're able to teach your kids to recognize what they've done. I've tried it with mine.
Yeah.
Some can do it, kinda. Some have no idea, but
I, yeah,
it takes time.
I'll use a tell me about your race. Because we're watching like, okay, you completely fell apart the second lap. But I feel as a coach, when you say that to them, it makes you feel like crap. It's like, okay, wow, coach thinks I suck. No, no, no. You tell me, okay, I cramped up really bad. Hey, my shoelaces came on side. Okay, that makes sense. I can't harp on it now. I can't really say much. I get it. Okay, yeah, coach, I looked away for 1 second, and then when I looked back, the guy was already in front of me. Okay, so what do we learn? Don't look away. Easy enough.
So
Because I just feel it's if we keep saying to them the same thing over and over, they need to kind of see it, say it, realize it, and then fix it and get better with it.
that's it. It's just that's why we're here. We're here to show you how to fix things, how to
Hmm.
try and make it better. Try this next time, or some days you don't have it. Like if you had a bad day, you had a bad day.
Hmm.
It's like coaching also. Some days we have bad days. We coach. It's like
Yeah.
it's not always going to be the same thing. It's you have to be able to take that moment and you have to be able to look at it and figure out what needs to be done and you have to be okay with how you do it. You got to be okay with the criticism. You know,
Hmm.
you could be hard on kids, or kids can think that the coaches are hard on them, but we're just there because we want to make you better. We're not here to put you down. We're here to bring you up. And if that means a little bit more constructive criticism from us, then so be it.
Well said.
You know.
I like it.
So if we're gonna sit here and talk about winter and spring track, we should probably save that for another one. Because
Yes,
I don't know what are we at right now.
I'll probably see about another 45 minutes. This was
Uh
the quick one, by the way.
that was a quick one, so it'll be quick by like 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That'll be okay. I think it went all right. I mean, we definitely thought we were going to be like 20 minutes shorter than we are now. And I'm looking at the time. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, it's been
Well,
past my bedtime.
it's way past your bedtime.
It's like 1:45 at night right now, and no, it's actually 10:45, 10:46.
Yeah, it's definitely
I need my sleep sleep. Okay.
It's bewitching hour right now. We probably have to, make a nice warm glass of milk.
That's what I have over here.
Oh, you do? Me
You
too.
know.
That's wild. Gonna have my warm glass of milk, throw on my pajamas, and then go lay down and
That's it. And
that's it.
dream fast.
And dream for fast times.
Yes, exactly.
So that was awesome. I think our
Yes.
second episode definitely went well, and definitely went just as long as the first episode.
Yeah, that's all right. But we
But
still have
that's all right.
plenty of materials for next time about our indoor, outdoor, and then even post high school memories or
Oh yeah.
things we don't want to remember.
Oh yeah. Plenty of those.
Plenty of
Listen,
those,
we're gonna
yeah.
look back at episode 2 here while we're in season 15, episode 8, and we're gonna be like, oh, remember episode 2? When we first started? Ha 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 ha.
Remember when you were doing it from your house and I was from my house, and now, oh wait, we're still in the same place.
Yeah, now we're still in the same house.
I just have a different curtain.
We're in some fancy studio in Manhattan. We're like laughing about it. Like, oh, this will be cool. Oh, what are you doing after this? I'll get my car to be brought around here a little bit, and we'll go get some.
Alfred, bring the car around front, please.
Big successful podcast.
Yes.
But awesome time as always.
Yes,
And,
I like that awesome time. That was good.
Yes, it was. It was another good night, and everyone who subscribes to us, maybe 5 subscribers tomorrow.
Whoa, maybe 5.
Please subscribe to Headlock and Handoffs on
Yes.
YouTube. We will be coming up with our next episode next week when we touch again on I don't know, we'll come up with something different for the Royal Rumble talk for next week again, since we're getting
Definitely.
closer to it. And then obviously we'll continue with our running part with talking about our memories, and then transitioning to winter track memories.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we both obviously have plenty of those.
Plenty of them.
And then
Yes.
We'll go from there.
So for our viewers of hopefully more than our 5 subscribers, if you have a special cross-country memory, mention that down below. Tell us about it.
Hit that like button.
I was going to say that, but yeah, definitely give us the thumbs up, dude.
Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Throw a comment in there. Maybe we'll do a little shout out.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I did have one suggestion from a Craig Giorgio, who asked me about how we should discuss treadmill running.
We shouldn't, because it's a waste of time. No.
Oh wow, I could have said it better myself, actually.
Discussion over. All right,
we will save that for another time.
I'll touch upon it very quickly. Treadmill running can kind of work, but I don't think it's a good method of running, because you're not really running, as I say, you're just kind of lifting your legs up. It's like doing high knees for a whole time. Running, you're kind of like hitting the ground and going backwards, while treadmill running, my feet are just going up.
Yep.
So I'll do it at the gym. I'll do it sometimes now if it's really bad conditions out, but you kind of shouldn't. I don't think it's great for you.
No,
but
you want to get out there. You want to be able to do it in the natural aspect of it.
Yes.
Like I was telling you when I went, you went for a run the other day. You said yesterday. You said, right?
Run, yeah.
And then I went for a run. I told you I ran down at Bethpage Park, ran the same 5K course we ran in high school. Got some of the bad memories out of there when I was running through there, and then running along, going, "Wow, it's been 21 years. 21 years now since we ran our county championship there."
Yeah, it's 20 years. 20 years this fall.
It would have been 20 years this past fall.
Well, this fall is 2021.
Right, but remember,
you're right. Yep, you're right. Okay. I'm sorry.
You remember when you graduated high school, right?
Yeah, many years ago, right? Turn of the century.
Yeah, turn.
I mean, but it is kind of close to it. Turn of the century.
You're right. Oh, listen, it's 20 years, 21 years. It was a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
You remember it as 20. I'll remember it as 21.
All right, sounds good.
We won't argue to see who's right. I mean, it's just math. I mean, math's hard. I know.
Okay.
That's why you teach what you teach. That's why I teach what I teach.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, so signing off for tonight. Thank you.
We're gonna hand off to you.
Hand off. Take
Bye.
back. High five. Right. Big high five, and we'll see everybody next week.
Later.